Hi, it's Lucy here, and today I'm going to be using up some of my scrap papers. I have so many, but today I'm just going to be using those top two and another sheet of the purple that actually goes together with it, but it wasn't a full piece either. But I'm going to make a few cards out of just these scraps here. So I'm just going to show one on how I made it and three different versions of this type, and then also some other easy cards. And if you'd like me to show how to do those at some stage, I'm more than happy to do a video on them as well, as it was really easy because you can just do basically the same designs sometimes, but the cards look very different from each other because of the papers and embellishments that you use. So somebody asked me, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of who did, but if I could just show slowly how I cut the papers with my knife and ruler. So I have a ruler here with inches and centimeters on either side, and what I do is I just go near the edges and I use my knife to go right to the edge of the card to cut it. I just find that this makes sure that I always get a really good coverage on the front of my card base, rather than using my trimming tools and all my other fancy things. I tend to use that the most. So now what I've done is I've put tape on the side of my card so that that piece of paper goes right to the edge. But because I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted it to go, I only put the tape on the far side of that paper, and that way then on the left side and the right side is stuck down really well. So now I was just playing around trying to figure out what I would put on, and I come across one of my old stencils of butterflies, and I thought that might go nice on the side here. I'm using some really old, it's some sort of a paste, and yeah, it's really quite hard and thick now, seeing as I've had it forever. But I think next time I use it, I'll try putting a little water with it and giving it a good stir. But it worked out okay, so it gave a lot of texture. I'm okay with that, but next time, yes, I would definitely put a little bit of water. So I'm trying to find the right purple here to go over my butterfly, and rather than the Distress Oxide ink, I've gone for one of my really old little stamps, ink pads that work really well still, which is amazing. I'm just adding a little bit of my glue here. It's the Sally's Aquadare. You may have heard me say that in other videos, which is what I use for everything. And just pop it in my little bottle there, which you can get on Amazon. So yes, after I dipped it in the glue, I added some glitter just to the sides of the wings, just to give it a little bit of shine and shimmer, because the paper on the left hand side, the white paper, that actually has a bit of glitter in those circles as well. So then I decided, while the other butterflies, the stenciled butterflies, were still a little bit damp, I would add a little bit of glitter to them as well. Just gives a little bit of prettiness. So I'm just cutting off a tiny little slice of foam tape here to put on the body of the butterfly, and then I'll add a little bit of glue as well to make sure that it stays down well. This gorgeous butterfly is a very lightweight chipboard, one from Uniquely Creative. So I've popped it down and now I'm having a look, and I think that this sentiment would be good, but I actually don't use it on this one in the end. I didn't like, I just didn't feel like it stood out as much as I'd like to, so I didn't waste it. I'm just putting some double-sided tape on the back of it so that once it's die cut, it's adhesive like a sticker. But I decided not to use it on this one, but of course I wouldn't throw it away. I'll use it on one of my other cards, which you will see shortly. So I'm only showing this card on how I've done it, but I've actually created 8 cards using just these few scraps of old paper, which I didn't know whether I would ever use again. So it just goes to show, you know, you can use them up so easily. And the same with the paste as well. So I've used one of my sentiments that I've just created from the computer and printed out onto nicer than copy paper. It's a bit thicker, but I've actually done 2 layers underneath it as well. I decided to change up where that butterfly was, but I've left a little mark, obviously because the glue didn't want to come up. So what I'm going to do is just punch a little butterfly. It's from the same ink scrap paper that I had before, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glitter, and then I'll pop it on where I've made that little hole in the paper and no one will know. So luckily with butterflies you can just add them anywhere. So then that card's done almost. I add a little bit of these blue drops onto the butterflies, but the largest white butterfly, once I whacked it, the 2 dots that I did sort of blended in together. I really didn't like that. I had a little go of trying to separate them, but I wasn't successful. I tried popping it back on again, but I still didn't like it. And so you'll see in the end result, I've popped some pearls on it. You'll see in the actual, here we go, some pearls and a little rhinestone. So I've just changed those up because I didn't like how the centers looked. And of course butterflies can have different ones, so some have got the blue and some have got the purple, rhinestones, pearls, it doesn't matter, it all adds a bit of interest. So here's the one, I used that sentiment and I added glitter to it as well, and I added foam tape to the white designer paper so that it stands out above the purple striped paper. And then here's another version. Because I had a black sentiment, I decided to put some black Nuvo drops on the dots as well, so that there's a reason for a black sentiment. And then I made a few other cards. I only had a little bit of this pattern paper left, and so I just used what I had, and with some black just did some tearing techniques, and a little lace doily there from Uniquely Creative. And then I did my favorite stripes. When I only have a little bit of the papers left, I use a die, but you can cut these any way you like. I did 3 different versions. This one is mostly using the real scraps from the die cutting. In between each strip you get a tiny skinny little strip, and so I used those on the top 2 cards, and then that bottom one was just using the 3 papers in a very uniformed way, but the other 2 I just did willy-nilly. And I've used different butterflies. This one is from Uniquely Creative, and that's one of the light chipboard ones again. It's a laser cut, and these ones are their gorgeous lace butterflies, and all I did was just cut a bit of purple cardstock behind them so that they stood out a bit more. And then I had another card. I went to cut this, and I turned it over and I saw this middle part, and I thought, well, I'll keep that. And so I just stamped the happy birthday sentiment onto it. So I hope you've really enjoyed watching these, and they've given you a couple of ideas on what you can do with your scrap paper or designer papers that you've had for a long time. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you did, and click the notification bell as well so you know whenever I upload a video and you don't miss out, seeing as I'm fairly new to YouTube, so they don't always show me in the algorithms yet. So anyway, have a great day, enjoy your crafting, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy.